in the chat box.
So the clock has struck
Yes.
4:30. Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar, Eltai webinar 100, 113, 113. It's a big number. And today for this webinar, we have Honorable Sri Santosh Mahapatra sir, who is going to talk on using ChatGPT for formative assessment in the English language classroom. This webinar is going to be moderated by Honorable Sameena Tabassum Madam. A warm and hearty welcome to you and all the participants. Eltai is the biggest network, largest network of English teachers across India, and the promo video will showcase the different activities and the vibrancy of Eltai. Nearly 5,000 participants, 5,000 members of Eltai are there, and it has been conducted webinars, various activities from last many years. Once again, I welcome you all to this webinar, 113th webinar of Eltai. Let's play the promo video of Eltai, which shows various activities. And this topic is very wonderful today because we have ChatGPT, we have artificial intelligence everywhere. Let's talk about it. So this is what we are. This is what Eltai is, one of the largest associations across the world. And for today's webinar, Honorable Moderator Sameena Tabassum is with us. She is a versatile personality. She has been working as an assistant professor in Maulana Azad National Urdu University, which is a central university based in Hyderabad, Telangana, India. She has worked as a teacher and lecturer in Saudi Arabia as well. So she has got that international experience. She has been working on various committees, on various platforms in various roles. She has been the member of Board of Studies, Department of English, since 2019. She has qualified NET as well as TS SET. She has presented many papers. She has published many papers, and all her papers reflect her research aptitude. She has 19 publications to her credit, and she has presented her papers in 22 seminars and conferences at national and international levels. She has been widely invited as well, and in different roles, chair, co-chair, resource person, etc. She has delivered many talks as well. She has also designed and revised more than 15 courses. She is, because of this outstanding work, incredible work, her work has been acknowledged and she has been conferred with Outstanding Teacher Award in 2022. I think her speech itself will introduce her more. The words are less, but her work has been immense. And with us today, we have Honorable Santosh Mahapatra, sir. And as you know, today is the world of information technology. And amidst this, when we are landing on Chandra, the moon, and we have the Chandrayaan, we have the artificial intelligence which makes us fly. And ChatGPT is one of the, we can say, the outcomes and consequence of this. And when we integrate this in our English classroom, yes, char chand lag jayenge. So once again, I welcome Honorable Santosh Mahapatra, today's resource person, and today's webinar moderator, Honorable Sameena, madam. Now it's over to Sameena, madam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sabnis, sir, for such a generous introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. When artificial intelligence and ChatGPT have become the buzzwords in the field of education, especially English language teaching, it becomes increasingly pertinent for ELT professionals to explore the usage of these emerging technological tools in our classrooms. It is with special excitement that I'm pleased to introduce our speaker for today's webinar, Dr. Santosh Mahapatra, who has a rich background in ELT and educational technology. Dr. Santosh Mahapatra is an associate professor in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. He completed his PhD in English language teaching at University of Hyderabad, HCU, in 2015 and MPhil in English language education at English and Foreign Languages University, FLU, Hyderabad in 2010. His research interests are teacher development, educational technology, and educational language policy. He is currently supervising PhD scholars on such contemporary topics as e-portfolio assessment, teachers' pedagogic practices, and educational language policy making. Before joining BITS Pilani, Hyderabad, Dr. Mahapatra worked at HCU and FU Hyderabad. An active member of various prominent committees at his university, Sir is also a member of the Board of Studies at other distinguished institutions in Hyderabad, like the Department of Training and Development, FLU, MBSR Engineering College, and Vallurupalli Nageshwar Rao Vignana Jyoti Institute of Engineering and Technology. Sir also served as a member of the Syllabus Subcommittee for Masters and PhD at Mumbai University and the Standing Committee for Selection of English Language Instructor on Contract at IIT Jodhpur. Dr. Mahapatra has presented papers, conducted workshops, and delivered keynote and invited talks at national and international level. Sir has published research articles and chapters in a plethora of leading national and international peer-reviewed journals and books, which include such renowned publishers as the British Council, Taylor and Francis, and Routledge, to name a few. With P. Sailaja as the co-author, his book Assessment in Language Classroom, A Teacher's Guide will be published by Taylor and Francis. Besides having been a guest editor for an issue of Portal, a UGC care-listed journal, Dr. Mahapatra serves as a peer reviewer for several Scopus Index journals such as system, foresight, wealth, Asia Pacific education researcher, research and learning technology, behavior and information technology, and cogent education. Sir has won several research grants and fellowships from the British Council, IIT and RELO US Embassy. Sir is associated as a subject expert and an investigator in many significant research projects funded by the British Council, BITS Pilani, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Educational Testing Service, and IIT. The list of Sir's accomplishments is indeed very long, but due to the paucity of time, I shall pause here and conclude by reiterating that it is indeed a great learning opportunity for all of us to listen to such an eminent resource person who has a rich experience in both PLT and educational technology. I'm sure all participants are eager to know Sir's experience of using ChatGPT, especially for formative assessment in the English language classroom. I would like to remind all the participants that there will be a question and answer session towards the end. All participants are thereby requested to type their questions in the chat box. These questions will be posed to the speaker after the talk. I hope you all have already downloaded ChatGPT on your devices. We thank you, Professor Mahapatra, sir, for having accepted our invitation, and over to you now. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're
Yes,
audible.
sir.
Thank you. That was a long introduction. I thought a shorter one would have done, but yeah. Uh, and a lot of adjectives. I was really flattered, but yeah. Okay. So for this presentation, Kevin asked me to prepare a PPT. If I have a PPT, he asked me. But I told him that I didn't have a PPT, and I don't have a PPT for this presentation. I don't wish to have a PPT. So what we'll do, as I told you earlier, as I mentioned in the uh, that abstract, that will be more of a hands-on experience. We'll make it hands-on. And if you have ChatGPT on your mobile phone or on your laptop, please go to your ChatGPT and we'll continue. So in this presentation, first we'll start with training yourself and training ChatGPT, and then we'll talk about creating assessments. And after that, we'll talk about training your students and then talk about giving them feedback. Using ChatGPT for feedback purposes. So that's my plan for this session. And let's begin. But before we start, our session, I would love to know your experience with ChatGPT till now. So for that, I will ask you to do something for me. Just give me a second. I'm putting it in the chat box. Can you respond to this? This is a Mentimeter poll. If you can respond to this will help all of us understand where you stand when it comes to familiarity with ChatGPT. If you can respond to this quickly. My video is on. I think it's there on the screen. If you want me to pin it to the screen, I can do that. But I'm there. My video is on. So I'll share the screen. There are two links. And this is just the one link which will take you to the next question. So you don't have to worry. I'll take it to the next question. We'll wait for another minute and then we'll go to the next question. That's the Mentimeter link. I'll keep posting. If somebody can repeat, that will help others who are joining now respond to this question. So we have quite a few people who are using ChatGPT regularly. A few are tried a few times, have an account, and some are really curious about what it is all about. That's you're saying that you're curious. That's good. Yeah. You can post your questions in the chat box, and we have people collecting the questions. They will ask the question later because the size of the audience, we may not be able to take questions right now, but we'll be able to take your questions, whatever you post right now, later after we complete the session. So we have a lot of people who are curious. But that's good. Let's go to the next question and see. And this is for, you can mention a few purposes for which you have used ChatGPT till now, like assessment, like creating tasks, creating questions, or creating a, some people might have used it for creating literature reviews and other things. Creating data, okay. Never used, okay, that's all right. We'll learn how to use this. Create speeches, yep. Lovely. That's the link I'm talking about. If you join just now, then you can respond using this link. Okay, so we have quite a few people who have not used, but there are people who have used it for various purposes like creating tasks, writing emails, articles, poems for information, creating questions, language tasks, creating, checking, accuracy, so many things, research, okay. Good, okay. Then I work on educational technology, and right now on a paper on ChatGPT. So I'll also share my findings from my paper, which I'll also share the paper with you a little later once it's published. Right now I don't have it. Okay, we'll stop this and move to the next section. Okay, the now I told you earlier that the plan is to start with how to train yourself and how to train ChatGPT. These are two things. So you may be it may not be curious. You may not be curious to know how you can train yourself, but when I'm saying that you have to train the ChatGPT, you have to train ChatGPT, that may raise a few eyebrows. So what we will do, we will learn how to train ourselves first, and then I'll show you, demonstrate to you how you can train ChatGPT. Okay, so if you have an account, it's really good. If you don't have, you can take screenshots. So we have recordings you can follow later and do this. If you have ChatGPT, you can continue working with me. I mean, like side by side, when I'm showing it, you can do the same thing. I'll give you a minute to do that. So before that, let's talk about how you can train yourself. So first thing is, it's not very difficult to train yourself. What you need to do is to create an account with ChatGPT. I'll show you. So here, just 1 second, I'll share my screen and show you. Okay, so if you go to OpenAI and open openai.com, you will see. I'll just open that and show you. Okay, now here if you log in, I click on that. Then I have ChatGPT. I have already an account, that's why it's opening it. You have to go to login and then you have to create an account. Then it will allow you. It's free, so you don't have to pay for it. And once you start, say if you click on get started, then it will show you 3 tabs, and then you choose, ChatGPT, and that's the only thing you need for now. You don't need anything else for now. Okay, and once
Santosh
you
sir,
have, sorry,
your screen is stopped. Kindly share the screen. It's not visible.
okay, now it's okay.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now you will have a screen like this. Once you create ChatGPT, you will have you will have a page like this, and here you can. This is the message box where you when before you train ChatGPT, you need to train yourself in finding out how to use this space, and this is not very difficult to do. Just to know that you need to type the message here, the send message area. Nothing else. I'm talking about this because this is for also people who have not been exposed to ChatGPT or who have never used ChatGPT. So it's important to give them some ideas before we move on and talk about how to create questions and all. ChatGPT in the global south, in this part of the world, maybe this will work well during daytimes. After afternoon, it will get slower because people in other parts of the world will start working. So early morning till afternoon time in your country, probably it will be much faster. So see how that works. In India, that's how it works. So majority of the participants, I think who we have here, they are from India. So I'm talking about from their perspective. In India, till around 2, 3, 4, it will work really fast, and in the evening and at night it will get slower. And it may take a lot more time to respond to your questions or queries in the evening. So if you have to do something, do it in the morning time until afternoon, it will work well. Others who are not from India, you can calculate accordingly and see when you can use. For example, if you are from Thailand or Philippines, probably you would like to begin early, like late in the morning, around 11ish in the morning, 11, 12 in the morning, and you can go on till evening, probably 6. That'll be ideal for you. And that's how it has been working in India. So just wanted to give you a sense of that, so that you don't get frustrated when you ask questions to ChatGPT. I'll increase my volume. Is this better? Because somebody wrote
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not audible.
You're
Okay,
clear. You're audible.
perfect. So now, once you train yourself, in all these things, ChatGPT more or less. Right now, you are logged on, and then you are on this portal. Now the thing is, okay, suitable time for India should be in early in the morning, around 6 o'clock to around 2, 3. Up to then, it'll be good. Okay, after that, it'll get slower. Slowly, it gets slower. I don't know about the mechanism why it gets slower, and all. I assume that people in other parts of the world they are using. That's why it's slow, because it's not paid. There is a paid version which will be faster, but I don't want to pay any money, and I don't want you to pay any money as of now, unless you are really rich and you have money to pay. But I don't have that kind of money, so I don't pay. I'm happy with the free version, and been using it for a while. It works really fine, so you don't need to do. So yeah, now training ChatGPT for the purpose of assessment. So when we are designing an assessment, there are things that you need to consider. And the first thing is we talk about assessment specifications. If you are trained in assessment, you will understand it really well. If you are not trained, I'll just simplify for you so you understand what I mean by specifications. By specifications, I mean, let's say you are talking about a reading comprehension passage, okay, reading comprehension task. Now, for specification, you will ask this question. What level of learners are you thinking about? I'm thinking about, let's say, um, intermediate or advanced or lower intermediate or higher intermediate or basic, beginners. These are the levels. If you say standard 5, standard 6 and all that, ChatGPT may not understand what you're saying. So either you go with that or you go with something like A1, A2, B1, B2, like the CEFR levels. You did adhere to CEFR levels, it will be much easier. So say that CEFR B1 level for young learners. Then you are specifying this is what I mean by training ChatGPT. So when you ask them to create a passage, later you ask them to make it suitable for young learners of age group, you can say 10 to 11. And then you add that it is for people in India, or further you can say that people in rural or urban areas in India. And then you go on adding more information. So I started with for learners in India, or learners in Philippines, learners in Thailand. And then you can choose a topic that is appropriate for your learners. So you can say that, let's say, I'll demonstrate to you, I'll show you how to do that. But before that, I'm talking about it so that you can do it on your own when I'm doing it here on screen. I think I'm audible. If I'm not audible, somebody will tell me. I'm audible, Kevin?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Perfect. Okay. So what you do is start with create a passage, then think about the length of the passage. I'm talking about a reading comprehension passage here. Think about the length of the passage. So you think that, let's say, 300 words will be ideal. So say that create a 300 word passage. Think about the topic that is appropriate. Let's say I'm in Telangana, I'm teaching in Hyderabad, so I have learners from Hyderabad. Let's say that's the case. So I'll say that create a passage on the history of Hyderabad in Telangana. So it creates a history of Hyderabad and Telangana. Make it a challenging passage for college students in the city of Hyderabad. So it will rewrite it for you so that it's challenging. Okay, then you say that make it suitable for C1 level learners. So it will make it suitable for C1 level learners. After that, you ask them to create reading comprehension questions. How many questions? Mention that I need 10 questions on the basis of this passage or on this passage. So it will create 10 questions. Tell them that it's multiple choice questions. So they tell them that 10 multiple questions on this passage. It will create 10 multiple questions on, it's really, really easy. It's not very difficult. Okay. Now let's see if I'm able to do that. So I'll start here. I'm thinking about Telangana here. I'm thinking about Hyderabad here. You can mention your context. So I will say, can you give me a 300 word passage on the history of Hyderabad in Telangana? Okay. Now it gives me a history of Hyderabad in Telangana. Okay. Now my learners are college level. I may not have to mention that. I'm happy with the C1 level. So I'm just saying that, can you rewrite it for C1 level learners? Okay. It's slightly, the sentence structures are, little more complex. Vocabularies of, a few more rare words are used. So that makes it suitable. Then I say that, can you create 10 multiple choice questions? So 10 multiple choice questions on this passage. Done. So he created 10 multiple choice questions for you, and can you give me, I'm talking about here how to train ChatGPT. Can you give me 10 multiple choice questions, including, okay, 2 global, 2 3 inferential, and 5 factual questions. Factual questions. 5 factual may not be necessary, so just leave it. Say that. Okay. Now, question. Perfect. So you have some factual questions which were there earlier. Now you have some global questions and some informational questions. So you can easily create these questions, and you keep training ChatGPT to make the questions specific for your learners, appropriate for your learners, your classroom, your context. All that you need to write here carefully and ask ChatGPT to work on that, the same passage. So once you identify the topic, then think about the level of the learners, the length of the passage, number of questions, kind of questions, and level of questions, challenge level also, difficulty level. You ask them to raise the difficulty level of the questions, and it'll do that for you easily. And I'm saying this is good for formative assessment or classroom-based assessment, because I may not want to do this for my final exam question paper, though you can generate and use, but I want to think creatively and do it. It's now ChatGPT is thinking for me, and this you can use for regular classroom activities. Regularly, if you're doing something, you can save your time by using ChatGPT. Yes, you can do listening comprehension. It's possible to do listening comprehension also on ChatGPT. You can create a passage, you can create a conversation, you can ask to people, and then you can record those things and use it for ChatGPT. It's possible. Yes, basically you need to mention all the specifications, and by specifications I mean, for a reading comprehension thing, the length of the passage, the content, the area, the what you need, how many questions, what type of questions, and the level of difficulty. All those things you can decide, and then ask ChatGPT for you to create questions or tasks for you. It will do it immediately. It's not very difficult to do that, as long as you are smart enough to train your ChatGPT. This is like train how to train your dragon, that kind of movie. I'm reminded of that movie where I'm training the dragon. So it can do all that you want, but you need to train ChatGPT regularly, and it will learn also, because this is AI. It will automatically also learn. Next time when you do it, you perhaps learn and do a smarter job next time. So this is just for reading comprehension. You can do the same thing for writing questions. For example, if you want to do a note making or note taking thing, let's say note making activity you want to do. So what you can do is, if you are doing note taking, we'll talk about a little later, listening and note taking. Let's do with note making. For example, if you're doing a note making task based on the basis of based on a passage, or on a reading passage. Let's see how you can do that. So what I'll do is I'll ask them to create a reading passage. So already we have a passage. So can you create a note making task based on the passage? Lovely. So it created a note making task for and notes for me. What I can do is, if I have to use it for note making, I will give them the passage. I'll remove a few points from here, ask my students to fill out these points, under different categories. For example, under Nizam rule, I'll remove the first point. This point, let's say I remove, or this point I remove, or 2 points I remove, something like that. So I keep removing points and ask my students to fill out those things. So that will make my mm, my task much easier. It'll save a lot of time and it'll give practice to my learners, to my students. But this may not be appropriate because there are issues related to ethicality and other things will arise when you use it for kind of exams, because there are issues like people can generate answers, they can get ready-made answers and all that, and then there will be issues that I'm not going to talk about this thing, the issues here, because we are not into those things right now in this webinar, just showing you how to do this. Now you can do a kind of things related to writing also. For example, if you are doing a task, if you're teaching in an engineering college and you want to teach your students report writing, and in the reports you are asking them to write abstract, okay, an abstract of a report. So, so what you can do is what you can ask them to write an abstract. So you say that, can you write an abstract for undergraduate or an undergraduate technical report. Let's say it wrote a longish one. I can shorten it. Can you shorten it? Can you rewrite it in 150 words? Perfect. It wrote in 150 words for me. It may not be a good idea to write your PhD thesis using ChatGPT because it will be considered plagiarism, and no university is accepting ChatGPT generated PhDs as thesis. So you will be in trouble and turn it in really immediately. It will catch you if you are writing your PhD thesis or you are submitting articles written by ChatGPT. I don't think any publisher will accept. So there are a lot of issues related to those. So I would advise you to avoid using ChatGPT for creating content for publication or summation of thesis or anything. Please do not use ChatGPT. That will be disastrous. I mean, you have to blame yourself for that. I have never done that. I won't do that and won't advise anybody to do that. So please avoid using ChatGPT for generating content for submission to a journal or your PhD thesis. Don't do this. Not a good idea. Okay. Okay, now the next thing is once you do that, let's say it's an abstract, it has created an abstract. Can you create, let's say I have to create, can you write the function of each component in the abstract? No, it's not doing, so I wanted it to do a multiple choice. Can you create a multiple choice, 5 multiple choice questions on each component of the abstract? It's still not doing what I want it to do. You say that. So I'm just showing you how you can. I'm trying to train it because it's not doing what I want it to do. I want to teach my students how to write an abstract, and within the abstract, the first part is aim of the study or broad background, then one line on specific background, one line aim of the study, one line on methods, one or two lines on abstract, results, one or two lines on implications of the study. So those things, I wanted to highlight those things. So I will make it explicit. Um, Raya is asking if you can paraphrase. I don't think you can, and that's not allowed. Sorry. So can you identify, can you create questions? No. Okay, let's say, can you create questions on the aim of the study? Okay, aim of the study, methods used, results obtained, and implications. Create what kind of questions? Multiple choice questions. So I'll say multiple choice questions on the aim of the study and all that. Okay, let's see if it does. Okay, some now it's taking shape slowly. So if you keep training it, it will give you exactly what you want, and learners will learn how to write the aim of the study, how to write in the methods, how to write the results section. So according to what you want to focus on, you can decide how to give instructions to ChatGPT to create questions for you. Yes, you can ask. Mamta is asking that. I'll demonstrate that. If for a literary text, if you can do that. So if I have to do that, then for a literary text, let's say I'm taking God of Small Things, and I have a colleague here. We have been talking about it, how we can create critical questions for text, for literary text. And then you can do that by asking questions like, can you create a few questions? You can do it multiple choice if you want. If you don't want, say, WH questions or inferential questions, whatever kind of questions you need, a few critical questions, let's say, critical analysis questions. Or can you create a few questions? Create a few questions, let's say a few questions. Literary appreciation questions, let's say I say literary appreciation questions on God of Small Things. Okay, a lot of questions. Okay, can you create a few questions on God of Small Things on a passage from God of Small Things? Sorry. Few questions on the application of post-colonialism. Application to a passage from God of Small Things. Okay, let's see. Wow, So it gave me a passage and talking about post-colonialism. So you can create. I hope it's good for you, and you can easily create questions. Um, so yeah, so you will get questions, but I'm saying that I would avoid using these questions for any publication purposes or something like that, because this will be really unethical, and most of the people, and maybe you will lose your job or something, or you'll be fired from your job because it's not allowed till now. And maybe in future it will become common and everybody will accept it, but I don't know. Right now you are not allowed to do this, and it's not really useful, but you can do it. You can say that please create a question on whichever, let's say Hamlet, you are saying that. Okay, can you create um, a critical appreciation question on a passage from Hamlet? It immediately creates and gives you a lovely passage. So if you want to do that, you can do that. We'll get back to language again right away. So you can do that, and you, let's say you are teaching engineering students how to paraphrase or summarize. You can do the same. You can do the same thing here. Okay, you can ask it to create a passage on, tell them on which area, let's say from physics, say that from general physics, create a passage. We'll create a passage, ask them to give me 5 option summary from which one is correct. It will immediately give you 5 summaries. Out of 4 summaries, one will be correct. It will show you why it's correct. Ask it to justify why it's correct. So you can easily teach summarizing to all your students. If they're in business, you can create passages from business, literature from business, and then if you're doing it with engineering students, do it for engineering. Context can change, but the how we do it, the skills remain the same. Context can change. So you change the context according to your students. If they are class 5 and class 6, class 10, class 12, you decide what kind of questions you need. Same with paraphrasing. You can do the same thing. So you can ask them to create a passage, ask it to create a passage, ask it to create several paraphrased versions out of which one is correct, and justify why it's correct so that your students also know why it's correct. So if you keep doing that, it'll get training also, and it will start doing your work much more efficiently. And you will also become efficient in the process of training ChatGPT, because you will learn the keywords to make, to make the best use of this thing. Okay, so keep doing that, and it'll save a lot of time for your classroom things. Instead of going to the classroom and talking to students for like 1 hour or 50 minutes, you can take loads of exercises, put them on a Word doc or a Google Docs, and share that with your students. If they're using mobile phones in the classroom, ask them to perform those tasks. That will be much, I mean, the classrooms will become highly interactive also. So this will be really useful if you know how to use this, but avoid using this for any publication purposes, because that will be considered unethical, and that's a problem that you'll face. And here Sai Lakshmi is saying that everybody will become okay, Radhika is saying that if they're not allowed to use mobile phones in the classroom, what you can do is you can create a file and ask everybody to take a printout of that, and you have, for the entire semester, you can keep your materials ready. Or you can create small materials, leave it at the Xerox center, they can photocopy and bring it to the classroom. Nitin Kumar is asking if I had to show you some grammar. Okay, that's one of the easiest things you can do with ChatGPT. So I'll show you how you can teach them grammar. Okay, let's do that. So if I have to teach them a passive voice, okay, and I'm talking about, let's say these are students who are in the lab, and you want to do a process. I mean, like one of the ways, regular, what is called, a real life context where they use, uh, where they use passive voice is, I'm talking about passive voice here, they use in laboratory context, laboratory report writing context. So I'll say that, can you create laboratory, can you write write a laboratory process in active form, in active voice. Okay. Okay, can you, I wrote it wrongly. Can you write a laboratory experiment in active voice? Okay, the procedure is written in active voice. Can you change the procedure to passive voice? Yeah. So what you can do is you take the active voice part, place it there. Below that, you put the passive voice, remove the parts that have been passivized, ask the students to insert the right passive voice. So that will be a kind of, an authentic way of, I say, kind of teaching your students how to use passive voice. Rather than asking them the single one-line questions, it will be a good thing to give them something they're familiar with. For example, how to make tea. If they are class 7, 8 students, probably it will be a good thing to give them assignments. These tasks where in relation to something they are doing outside the classroom. For example, if you're talking about class 7, 8 students, maybe a lab experiment, if they are doing small lab experiments, maybe something they are doing at home. Maybe if they are helping their parents, their mom at home in doing something, let's say cooking a recipe or making tea or something like that, that can also be done. It's easy. So choose the context carefully and see where passive is applied in a real life context in case of your students, and then decide what you can ask them to do. That will be really, really good. So first, choose the context, make sure that it's authentic in nature. Ask ChatGPT to to create a passage in passive, and then create the same passage in active, and then put those two passages, remove the passive in the passive form, remove the passivized spaces, portions, ask them to fill out those portions, and make sure that the process is complete. So this is a kind of very highly authentic activity, simulated activity, which you can use in the classroom. Talking about one grammar activity, you can do that same for, let's say, if you're doing active voice or let's say reported speech if you're doing. So what you can do is you can say that, let's say my students are in Telangana and I'm teaching college students in Hyderabad. So what I'll do is, can you create a small conversation between two friends in Hyderabad, in brackets, Telangana, because it may take you to Pakistan, Telangana, Hyderabad, so I may not know. So let's see if it's creating. Yay. Lovely conversation on biryani, Rajiv Gandhi International Cricket Stadium. Then you have Chowmahalla Palace. A lot of things which are common to Hyderabad. Those things are here. So you have a conversation ready here. Now what you can do is you can ask people to convert it into reported speech. Or you can create, let's say, two people if you have. Okay. So what you can do is you can ask two people to play roles. You can record the same thing, do a listening activity in the classroom. And you can see here, you can design the listening activity. You can create sentences related to phonetics transcription. I think you can do that, but it may not have those special cases. So that will be slightly tricky if you have to do that. But if you want to do this, you can always have a, let's say, give me a conversation. Let's say you are in Kolkata, you are teaching. Okay. So you can do, what you can do is, can you create a conversation between two school students in Kolkata. Let's see what it gives. So you have Victoria Memorial, you have monsoon, you have a lot of things that the people in Kolkata can relate to. So, okay, Aniruddha is saying the phonetic symbols are there, so you can do that. So why not try then? If it's there, then you can definitely try and create it. I have not tried for phonetics. I have my reservations about teaching phonetics as such, but symbols are not a problem. You can teach. I mean, do I have a little more time? 5-10 minutes time, Sameena?
Yes, a few more minutes, and then we shall take up some question answers.
Okay, thank you. So now let's look at how we can give them feedback. So for feedback, you need to train your students how to use ChatGPT for feedback in the classroom. I do that, and I have a paper coming, I told you, and the success rate is very high, and it improves their accuracy significantly, and then a lot of construction errors, and they could get rid of a lot of they learned a lot of academic vocabulary, writing in academic style. So a lot of significant improvements, in their writing. So that paper I'll share with you once I get it published. Then I'll share with you. Now I'll show you how to do that. Let's say they are writing. You are teaching them paragraph writing, and you want them to get a feedback. So you are teaching them the first part of paragraph writing. You are teaching them how to write a good topic sentence. Okay. So you teach them how the different features of a good topic sentence. Now they write a topic sentence. Say, sir, I love to eat biryani. Is it a good topic sentence or paragraph? Okay, so it's telling you, not only it's telling you that it's a good topic sentence, it's also telling you how you can write, what you can write in that. Let's say if you write, India is the most densely populated country in the world. Okay. So is it a good topic sentence? Here the problem comes that let's say it's the most densely populated country in the world. If you are saying, you are giving almost a, let's say, I don't know, not very sure if it's the most densely populated country, but if it's the case, then it becomes factual. So it may not be a very good topic sentence. So here you have to be careful. Sometimes you have to train it what a good topic sentence is. Probably then it will give you good feedback. Otherwise, it may not give you the best of feedbacks. Then, for example, if you are writing a sentence like, I look forward to meet you today, is it grammatically correct? Is not grammatically correct, it's saying. Okay, the sentence I look forward to meet you is not grammatically correct. The right form is I look forward to meeting you today. In this corrected version, meeting is the gerund form of the verb meet. It's used after to indicate the action that you are anticipating. So if you want feedback on your writing, this is an excellent platform. You give them whatever passage you are writing, whatever paragraph you are writing, ChatGPT will tell you whether it is well organized, whether the supporting details are proper, appropriate for the topic sentence. So if you mention this is the topic sentence, what should I write for my details? What are the points I should cover in my details? How I should conclude? If this is my topic sentence, what is the best conclusion? You can ask them, or you can write, if this is the topic sentence, can this be a good concluding sentence? It will tell you whether it is a good concluding sentence or not. If you write up small 2 or 3 sentences or 4 sentences, can you check the grammatical accuracy of this passage? It will immediately tell you whether grammatically this is right or this is wrong. Everything you will know immediately. So make sure that you train your students to ask the right kind of questions, and ChatGPT will be very helpful. I'm sure all of you can go back and try. You can explore on your own. I have not talked about ChatGPT in everything that is possible in ChatGPT, but the aspects that are useful, immediately useful, you can save a lot of time, as I told you earlier. But try to avoid using ChatGPT for purposes like creating articles or publishable material. It's not helpful, and it'll backfire big time. So avoid using ChatGPT for generating content for publication. So that's it. I'll take a few questions. Let's see if there are questions.
Yes, sir. That has been very useful. It has been a very practical session. It's like hands-on training. I found it very useful, and I'm sure all the participants as well did. There are some repeated questions as regards the plagiarism concern using ChatGPT.
Yeah, absolutely,
Is it
yes.
ethical to use ChatGPT, and does it fall under plagiarism?
Yes, it does. Because it's not yours, that's why it will be considered as a plagiarized content. But you may not have an author. You can only the owner here will be ChatGPT, or it might have stolen from some other sources, and you'll never know. But once you place it there, Turnitin catches immediately and shows you. I may have Turnitin, so I can demonstrate. Probably at some other point, you can try if you have Turnitin. You can take and place it in Turnitin, and it'll show that it's plagiarized and taken from ChatGPT. There you are in trouble. Yes, it's not ethical. Whether plagiarized or not, I won't use those words, but I will say that it's unethical. So let's not use ChatGPT for creating content for publication, and that's not something that is acceptable. So you can avoid that.
Yeah. Yes, and there was a question as regards the suitable time for India, which you mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah, generally you can try in the morning, early mornings till around 12, 1, 2. Till then, it's fast. Even now, it's running fast for me. I'm lucky that it's running fast, but on some day, because it's Sunday, probably it's running fast. But on regular days, it may not run fast till 3, 4. Probably it will slow down significantly.
Okay. Fine, thank you, sir. And there is another repeated question about audio-video content.
Yeah, so now you have ChatGPT as a version called ChatGPT Whisper. It's called ChatGPT Whisper, WHISPER. That is for checking whether you are speaking appropriately, your pronunciation is good, whether you are doing so. There you have another thing to explore. Probably in another webinar, we will explore ChatGPT Whisper, which is also seriously interesting AI-driven software which you can use. So probably we will have another session for ChatGPT Whisper, where we will talk about how you can do things with ChatGPT Whisper.
Okay, yeah, that's quite informative, sir. And sir, there was one question as both teachers and students becoming puppets in the hands of technology. So I'm curious to know your response to this.
Yeah, so see, the thing is that I told you earlier, if you know assessment, ChatGPT will be an advantage, because you know how to create an assessment already, and you can guide ChatGPT to create good assessment for you. But if you are not trained in assessment, you don't know how to create good assessment, your assessments will still remain bad. Even with ChatGPT, you may not get the best of assessment question. I'm talking about tasks. One thing. Two is, technology should be there to save our time, to improve learning experience for students. So if you ask me what kind of technology you use in my classroom, let's say all my students, all of them, they are allowed to use mobile phones, laptops, and then tabs in the classroom. We have internet connection, very high speed internet, all the smart things, everything is there in the classroom, in all classrooms. You ask me what I use nothing, almost nothing. Okay, I use whenever it's necessary. I feel that learning experience can be better and their learning can be better. Then probably I'll add something. Unless I'm sure about that, I do not use technology unless I'm sure about how it contributes to my students' learning. So you think about your context, and also another thing is make sure that your choice of technology tool should be inclusive. It is inclusive. If it's not inclusive, what happens is maybe 5 students have mobile phones, 10 students do not have. If you come up with an activity which requires 5 students, all students to use mobile phones, and only 5 have, then you are excluding a lot of people. Let's say there are students from backgrounds where they cannot afford, let's say, mobile phones or technology or something, and you give a task which requires them to use technology. That makes it very, very, this divide is created in the classroom, and you should blame yourself for doing that. So make sure, and don't use technology just because it looks, trendy or looks fascinating or something like that. Use technology where, when you see that it will improve your students' learning experiences, it will save time for you, and it will make classroom highly inclusive. Everybody will get a good experience and everybody can participate. Then probably you should use. If you think that technology is excluding people in your classroom, probably it's not a good idea to bring technology to the classroom till you have everybody. I mean, either you use technology that is accessible to everyone, or don't use technology in that case if it's not possible.
Yes, sir, very well said. It should be used as a facilitator.
Right.
And only for meaningful purposes. Agreed. And thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and such a practical and informative session.
Thank you.
It's been very useful, and I'm sure most of us will definitely experiment it in our classrooms.
And just one thing is, I have one response to one last question, because we are done with the session.
Mhm.
I hope you
Yes,
don't
sir.
mind that. Just one question. They can respond to this.
And actually, there was a question as regards how do you create these bar charts based on questions? So Mentimeter is the reply to that person, I believe. There was a question.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, you are right.
Mentimeter is the application.
So here is the link to that. Can you respond to this and share the screen with you? I use Mentimeter. It's free. You can also use in your classroom. Evaluating assignment, yes, you can do that. You can take an assignment, put it there on ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT to read it and tell you how much this person can score out of 10 when it comes to, let's say, content. And you can mention the topic and organization and mechanics. And then you can know and what are the areas of improvement in this assignment. You can ask them, and then those things can be done. Yes, definitely. Why not? How confident are you about using ChatGPT for assessment and feedback? Okay, a lot of people are absolutely ready. We'll go to the one last question. How do you describe using ChatGPT for assessment and feedback? Is it, would you call it, what do you call, thrilling? Would you call it,
Is there a link for
difficult?
this, sir?
The same link, same link. There is no, you don't need a different link, the same link. Purposive, focused, or maybe challenging, unethical. Yeah, I'll mention my email ID. You can write to me. You can put it, yeah, I'm there on LinkedIn also, Facebook also. You can find me on most social media platforms. I'm into technology, so I'm there on all kinds of platforms. I love them, absolutely love them. Yeah, so we have some idea right now. Okay, mostly positive. Time consuming is the only problem, but otherwise we have mostly positive response to ChatGPT, which is a good thing. So go ahead and use ChatGPT, and do not use ChatGPT for creating content for publication. Rest is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you. That's it.
Thanks a lot, sir. Over to you, Sabnis, sir.
Thank you, madam. It was an excellent session. Thanks a lot, Santosh sir. And it was wonderfully moderated by Sameena madam. Thanks to you also. Thanks to all the participants nearly 400 participants were there, and the responses in the chat box and the thumbs up shows that you enjoyed the session. It was highly interactive, highly relevant, and significant. So we enjoyed every second very thoroughly. Dear friends, Eltai always organizes, every week we organize a webinar, and besides webinar, we organize national, international seminars, workshops as well. So here is the announcement about the upcoming webinar the next Sunday. Do join us as you join today. And yes, it is always a beautiful learning experience. Remember, the feedback link has been shared in the chat box. Only Eltai member students and foreign nationals are given the participation certificates. So you also join Eltai so that you also become a very active member and get all the benefits as a member. Dear friends, there is one more announcement that we have the international conference to be held in Uttaranchal University, Dehradun. Kavin, can we just show that? Yeah, please. And the deadline has been extended to 8th September. So you can submit your abstract and you can be there in the Bhumi of God, the land of God, Dev Bhumi, Uttaranchal University, Dehradun. Again, we are getting huge response, but without you, except you, it may not be a grand success. So do join us there also. You can submit your abstract and you can register, you can participate, present your paper, post, etc. So it was really a wonderful evening with a very intellectual and interactive session of Dr. Santosh Mahapatra, sir. Thank you so much on behalf of Eltai, sir. And thank you, the moderator. Thank you all those who have joined us, participated in this webinar. Please submit your feedback form. And as Kavin said, you'll get the certificate in 10 days. So thank you so much. See you there in Uttaranchal University. See you also the next Sunday and upcoming Sundays also in various webinars, conferences, etc. So
Thank you,
that's
sir.
all from here. Thank you, Kavin, for being there, for your technical assistance.
Yes, sir. Thank you so